Okay, Grandma. Hold on a second. This is not going to work. Okay, Grandma, can you tell me your full name and your age and your birth date?
Mildred Caroline Spencer. I was born November 15th, 1911. I'm 83.
83. Aunt Clara, can you tell me your full name and your birth date?
Clara Maybell Maurer, and I was born July 9th, 1917, so I am 78 years old.
Well, your birthday just passed.
Yes.
Angela's was July 12th.
Oh.
Well, what kind of house did you guys live in when you were, well, I know you're 5 years apart, but, and Grandma told us about a couple of houses that burned down. Did you live in the houses that burned down, Aunt Clara?
I was a baby when the house burnt.
Okay.
That was on the farm where I was born.
Okay.
And I guess I wasn't I? Yeah. And so I don't remember anything, of course, about that.
Okay. Well, what did you guys do for fun when you were kids?
Well, in the winter, after we had our chores done, we went sleigh riding, and that was our main thing in the winter. Mildred was a good ice skater when she had the opportunity to get on the ice to skate, and I'd go along when we went down to a big pond, and some of the boys would push me on sleighs across the ice, and I had more fun like that. But Mildred skated very well, so I wasn't that. I learned to skate later, but not like she did. I wasn't near as good.
You were very talented, huh, Grandma?
And yes, she was very good. And in the summer, myself, I loved to play ball, and we used to go to a neighbor's field quite a ways over. So after I'd hurry and get my evening chores done after the dishes and things were done up, because we'd work in the garden and stuff. Well, then I would grab my mitt and my baseball, and I would run for the ball diamond.
So you were a tomboy.
Yeah. And we'd play ball till it was too dark to see. Then we'd stand and throw the ball up in the air and run around catching it, as it came down. So that was one of the main things. And then, of course, if we were a bunch of us together, we'd play hide and seek and things like that at night.
Okay.
Now,
All right. What was one of your happiest childhood memories?
I don't know. I just
A special holiday or?
guess we always look forward to Christmas.
Yeah. What kind of things did you get for Christmas?
very limited amount of things in those days. You didn't. We usually got one or two presents, and Mother we always hung, when we were little, we hung our stocking on the doorknobs, and we'd find them filled with an orange and candy and a few nuts in the morning. And we looked forward to that. It was always fun. Of course, I looked forward to it. She hung hers so that I wouldn't wonder why she didn't. I guess you'd say that.
Well, what about toys? What kind of toys did you have? Besides your ball and your mitt and ice skates and things?
Well, I had one doll during my childhood days, and that was a second-hand doll that my mother bought from somebody else, and as I got a little older, my brother always had so many books. Anytime he had any money, he could buy one of the boys' books, so I read all his books. I couldn't hardly wait to read his books when I was old enough,
Mm-hmm. Did you have any dolls, Grandma?
I must have had, I really don't remember, but I must have had, because they usually gave us the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. What were you like as a child?
I don't remember much about anything.
Hold on one second. We're on a pause for a second here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Hello? Yeah. Hi. Hi, Diva. Good. Hold on. I'm gonna. Yeah, one second. No, I didn't pause it. I have to edit. Okay. You know what? Your school years. And where did you go to school?
Me?
Yeah.
I went to the Poor Farm School, which was just about 3/4 of a mile from where we lived.
Okay. Aunt Clara, where did you go?
I went to that same school
Uh-huh.
through the 8th grade, like she did.
Okay.
And then I went on to Oscoda High School and graduated from there. And then I went to County Normal at East Hollis, Michigan. And then I earned my teaching certificate there.
I didn't know you had your teaching certificate.
Well, that was good for 3 years. Then I had to go to summer school to renew the certificate.
Okay.
And so that takes care of my schooling.
Okay. Grandma, where did you go to high school?
Well, I had the 9th grade in Mankato. Leora Emmerich taught there, and that was the last year that they taught the 9th grade in Mankato. And for my other 3 years, I went to Oscoda High School.
Okay. Okay, and you went to college?
I went to Cleary College in Ypsilanti for 1 year.
Oh, okay. Neat. What did you guys do as teenagers?
Well, mostly we had to help work out in the garden and in the fields, hoeing and help keeping the garden clean.
Yeah.
And one time I could tell you, Clara and I they left us home and we went back and we were pretending we were playing something and we got down in there and the weeds were so high and the carrots that were coming up were just little plants and we just worked so hard. We thought that was fun. But then when the folks came home and saw what a good job we were doing, they wanted us to keep on pulling weeds. That wasn't so much fun then.
You thought you were going to dazzle them, and you did. When did you start dating and things, or did you? I mean, did you date per se? Did you have dances or?
Well, there used to there was an Oddfellow Hall in Mankato, and our father belonged to the Oddfellow Lodge, and he used to help supervise dances they had on Saturday night to earn some money for that, and he used to sell the tickets and that, so we were allowed to come along with him.
Okay.
We didn't date, we just went to that with him, and I didn't date till I guess I was about through high school.
Okay. What about you, Grandma?
Well, I don't think I dated either until we were out through high school.
Okay. Okay. Do you have friends close to home that you played with regularly, or?
Well, we had neighbors, Kinseys, I guess, were our closest neighbors, and we would go over there and, we played ball, and then we played hide and go seek in the big barns, and that was about the size of our playing, I guess.
Yeah. Did you have something to add to that, Aunt Claire?
Yes, well, I don't know whether Mildred went down as much as I did because I went down to the Langs, another neighbor down there, and they had a daughter just a year younger than I. And we used to play, I used to go down there and then play with them a lot. The boys were much older, and But anyway, Mrs. Lang had the biggest pantry off of her kitchen. And we all always sat in that pantry. It had a big bench in it, and she always baked sweet coffee cake. And all of us would be treated to her coffee cake. And so we had a good time that way. And then when we used to go down there, and the group, there'd be a lot of young people there, and one of the Lang girls would play the organ or the piano, and a couple of the boys would play violins, and we'd stand around and sing, and it was so much fun. And things like that we did. It was fun. And then a group used to come, different ones would come to the house, and this one man, Art Howard, who had his leg amputated, and he had a peg leg, but he loved to play the guitar. So they used to come down there, and we'd all stand around and just sing and sing, and it was fun.
That sounds neat.
Yeah.
Okay. What were some of the old-fashioned remedies for illnesses that your parents used on you?
Okay, noted.
I don't know, it seems like Mother used to make some kind of a syrup or something, didn't she? I can't remember.
Well, we used to, one of the things was that if something was wrong, we usually got a dose of castor oil, for one thing. And she, when we would have bad colds, used to put turpentine and lard.
Ugh.
And heat that and rub that on, put a flannel on our chest and to help with the cold. And we did the same with her when my mother had pneumonia different times, and we had all kinds of things we had to do for her. But, oh yes, another thing, she'd always make hot salt water. If we had a fever, we would sit with our feet in the water, and it would take our fever down.
Huh.
Oh, numerous other things.
Okay. What was your relationship like with your mother and father? Were your parents strict, or were they?
Well, my father was more strict than my mother. I mean, in a way, but my mother she was a really good woman. They were both nice parents, but believe me, if my father went to church with us, at night I can remember going down to meetings, and they would sit us in front of them, and my dad, we knew enough not to move or to talk or anything in church, because if we did, we knew we'd get whacked when we got home.
Oh, no.
Oh, he didn't, hit us much or anything like that, but he would have. And he told us when we went to school, he said, if you get a whipping at school, or bad at school, you'll get a worse whipping when you get home. And so, believe me,
So you had to behave.
we behaved. Right, Mildred?
Right.
We surely did. And my mother was a lovely woman. You couldn't have asked for a better mother. And I used to, when I was little, I used to just love to cuddle up on her lap and just felt so good. And when I would be sick and she'd come in and put her hand on my forehead and things, it just made me feel better. And my dad, when I had so much earache as a child, and my dad would blow cigar smoke in my ear, and that would seem to help, a lot.
So Grandpa Spencer smoked cigars?
This
I mean,
was
Grandpa Failer?
now and then, not much,
Now and then.
but he'd smoke a cigar now and then. But as years progressed, like when I got so I couldn't stand to smell cigar smoke, when Mother and Dad came to live with us when we lived at Wayne, Michigan, why, Dad never smoked in the house. And he told my brother, he said, now when you come over to play cards or anything, you cannot smoke because it makes Clara sick.
Can you tell me about Uncle Frank?
Well, he was a very kind brother. and he was good to us. And we loved to go sleigh riding and playing with him, playing ball. He taught me, he taught us to play ball, boy, because he loved to play baseball and he liked to pitch and all. He always played on the team there at Mankato. And I can remember when I was too little to hold a .45 revolver in my hand to hold it up, he'd put his arm out and taught me to shoot that way. and he taught us to shoot. And he used to have an air rifle. I think every tin can in the place had a hole in it. And things like that. But, oh, he worked hard. He had worked in the fields and everything with Dad. In the winter they cut a lot of wood. Oh, he was a good person. And when Mildred was gone from home, why, I was much younger than he, but he used to take me with him when he'd go any place. He used to love to take me along, and I sure enjoyed going with him. So he was real nice.
Well, good. What are some of your memories of Uncle Frank, Grandma?
He was always good at helping us do things and taking us places, and when we'd go skating or something, he'd always take me. I guess I went more skating than Clara ever did, but he used to take me along with him, and we always had a good time together.
Good. Okay. So,
Well, we used to sleigh ride. We had a nice sleigh, and Frank and Mildred would stand up on the sleigh and I'd sit in front of them. And we'd go downhill that way. And so one day we were down, we had big ponds of water in our field and they were coated over with ice. So they wanted to find out if the ice was solid. So they put me on the sleigh and shoved me out on the ice and I went right down, of course, just set in the water.
oh no.
They remember that. They weren't being mean. They were just keeping from getting wet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to say.
So they just wanted to drench their little sister then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's typical sibling stuff.